Welcome back, everybody, to 31 1980s horror movies for Halloween, where I'm counting down my favorite horror movies from the 1980s. So, we're at number 21 today, and today we have a pretty intense little movie. It's a very underrated 80s horror movie that doesn't get talked about enough, but it deals with some rather rough subject matter. So this is one of those horror movies that you should do a little research in before you go into watching it. So today at number 21, we're looking at The Entity. So you have those horror movies that have incredibly high body counts. You have gory horror movies, you have horror movies that have tons of bloody kills. And then you have horror movies where nobody dies, but the subject matter is so creepy, disturbing, or frightening that you don't need to have any kills in the movie. And today we're looking at The Entity, which is a more personal horror movie. In this movie, we follow a single mother named Carla. Like I said, she's a single mother. She has 2 daughters and a teenage son. And one night, she is assaulted by an invisible entity. And yeah, that's pretty much what happens. She is sexually assaulted by an invisible force that she can't see. And she tries to go to a doctor to talk about this, and the doctor can't believe her because, again, no one saw anything. And throughout this film, she is constantly attacked and assaulted by the entity, this invisible thing that just keeps going at her. And the movie involves her being attacked by this entity and trying to get other people to believe that she is being essentially raped by some kind of demonic thing.
What are you talking about? Suicide?
You know what I'm talking about. What do you think you were doing when you crashed your car?
Yeah, he was trying to murder me!
It was a suicide attempt, Carla. We could have you in here before the day is out.
No, you can't! There are no witnesses. I won't say a thing. It's my decision.
What, to stay sick?
To stay alive.
This is a rough movie. It is a rough movie, and it is disturbing, but it's such a good movie. And it's one of the more frightening movies from the 1980s. Because it's not like a movie where a killer is going around killing a bunch of people. It's just one woman's life being turned upside down by something she can't see. And we, the audience, can't see it either. But despite the fact that we're never able to see the entity is one of the most frightening villains in a horror movie. We don't know why it chose her. It just did. And the first attack comes out of frickin' nowhere. She's just sitting in her bedroom, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Oh.
That's the main thing that makes the entity so frightening. And like, with Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees or even Freddy Krueger, you can see them coming in a way. Or even if you don't see them coming, they jump out at you. You can see the thing. You can see a body. There's something physically there in front of you. But with the entity, you never see any of the attacks coming because this thing is invisible. We cannot see it. It's one thing when you know what the villain looks like. It's a completely other thing where you have no idea what the villain looks like. It's the same reason why Billy from Black Christmas is so effective. We never know what he looks like. And the entity, it's even more frightening because it's just it's like some kind of ghost or, like I said, demonic spirit or something, so it can be anywhere at any time. It just, we get frustrated, but in the best way, because everyone around this woman doesn't believe that this is happening to her, and we know it's happening to her, and we feel for her so much. It's just like, this is something that is beyond her control. She can't really stop it because it's something supernatural. And there's a doctor in this, the psychiatrist she goes to see. I kind of like this character because, yes, he is skeptical. He does not believe that she's being attacked by a ghost or a demon or whatever. But unlike most movies where you're dealing with someone skeptical, like, in most movies the person is skeptical and they're just constantly bringing the person down. It's like, no, you're crazy, you're there, you need to be locked up or whatever. This psychiatrist does not believe in the supernatural, but you can feel that he genuinely wants to help. So we do like this character, but we're also frustrated with him because he does not believe that Carla is being attacked by this entity.
There's something there. There's really something there.
Carla, I'd be interested in taking a look inside. Would you mind?
All right.
And the music in The Entity is great too. It's very, very simple, and it's very aggressive. Just when this thing comes into play, you get this hard, aggressive music going bam, 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 bam.
Hey,
Okay, I'm gonna go get a chair.
hey, you can't use your hands. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Don't start without me.
So the first half of this movie deals with this woman constantly being attacked, and then the second half of this movie, you get some relief because she comes across these paranormal investigators who want to help her out, and they believe her story and they're trying to help her. So it does provide some relief, but not much because there's still this thing attacking her. It's something you need in this movie because through so much of this movie she's being attacked, she's not being believed. But then there are moments where people see it happening to her and then they believe her, and it just fills you up with so much relief. It's like, finally someone saw this happening. Finally someone believes her, and it gives you a little hope throughout the film. You need a little hope in certain horror movies to get you through the film. If it's just hopeless throughout the entire film, yeah, the movie is still going to be good, but it's going to be really hard to get through. The Entity is hard to get through, but because we get little elements of hope throughout it, it makes it so we can get to the end.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. You saw it. You saw it.
The Entity is terrifying. It's such a frightening movie. But again, it's one of those movies where I can't really recommend it to everybody. I think you should do some research first before looking into it, because it is dealing with some sensitive subject matter. And there are some graphic scenes, not in a violent way. It's not violent in a graphic way. I mean, it's not graphic in a violent way, but it is graphic in other ways. Ways that you would expect a movie like this to be graphic. Carla is a great lead in this movie. We love her, and she's one of the best female leads in horror movies. She deserves a lot more respect. The Entity is one of the most underrated villains in horror. The Entity, in general, the movie, is one of the most underrated movies in horror. And while I can't recommend it to everybody, if you research it and you think it's a movie you want to watch, I say go for it. You will not be disappointed. It's a disturbing movie with some dark subject matter, but it is a good movie. So brave moviegoers, for this Halloween, if you want to watch The Entity, go for it.
Do anything you want to me. You can torture me, kill me, anything. But you can't have me.